Morning, Stefan. How are you, man? Hey, Stefan. Hello.
Sorry, Scott, I was waiting for the recording. It was never mind. Hi, good morning.
Sorry.
Good evening. Good morning to you. Good evening to me.
Yeah, how are you today?
I'm phenomenal, man. It's been a great week of trading.
It has, hasn't
Couldn't
it?
be happier. Couldn't be fucking happier with crypto.
Dude, you crushed it this week personally, and check this out. So you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
So this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's gone down.
Right.
Ethereum's gone down substantially, and like really substantially. And now let's look at all our altcoins. The red line is the buy point.
Right.
Sol, Luna, through the roof, up 30% overnight. AVAX, solidly profitable. And the two losers aren't really big losers, like Coty and Qtum, and not too bad. So, fuck, what a week to be in alts. Like, finally, the system's getting it right.
Well, here's the best part. Switching to KuCoins was the best thing I ever did. Not only one, do I understand my commissions, but here's the second thing. Since it deals in Bitcoin, when I came into the game, the problem I had in Kraken, I started looking at my last trades. Long story short, was I kept looking at the dollar amount. Okay.
It fucks with your head so much.
So, but with the KuCoin, I looked at it. Now the dollar, because Bitcoin tanked. But the cool thing was I gained more. Remember what you said. You're here to accumulate Bitcoin.
That's the game.
Right. So I went from like 0.2, whatever, 8 million numbers behind it to 0.35 Bitcoin. So even though even though the dollar value went down per se to Bitcoin, I gained more Bitcoin.
And we know that Bitcoin will go back up. Like if Bitcoin if Bitcoin doesn't go back up, we're completely fucked anyway. There's no point in it, right? Like if Bitcoin goes to zero, then for some reason, like it doesn't matter how much we've made, like it's all going to zero. Like
right. But the cool thing was now I'm able to establish the gain in a better perspective, not the dollar value, but the actual the goal of the whole program.
The thing that matters. The thing that matters.
Yeah.
Did you check it? Have you checked it today? Because I haven't checked mine today, but it should be up pretty substantially. Like
all I've been doing is looking at charts. So I know I'm accumulating Bitcoin. In fact,
crazy. And
that's just, hang on here. I'll tell you in a second.
That's phenomenal.
Okay, so here's the kick-ass part. So I started out with basically 0.29 Bitcoin, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got 0.35 and however many digits behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge gain.
It's a huge gain.
So I mean, literally, I picked up, I went from 0.28 to 0.35 in Bitcoin. Now, granted, there's a dollar value attached to it, but I want to accumulate the coin. And now I'm getting excited because I'm finally seeing how to accumulate. I'm seeing the Bitcoins accumulate.
That's a 25% weekly gain.
I'm saying. I'm seeing now I'm not so frustrated because I'm seeing the Bitcoin join in. You see what I'm saying? I'm seeing that number grow, which was the whole thing's about.
Yeah, that means we're on track, man. We're back on track. And let's do you want to do the execution again together tomorrow?
I really would, because I want to make sure I've got that covered with the other coins, just to make sure I've got it right.
I learned a lot from doing it with you, and I just think it's part of an overall pro level process that we need to be bringing to the table. So
I really don't mind. The slippage part was going back through the past trades where I was getting my butt kicked. I totaled it up and it was depressing, but it makes a huge difference, and it's a much better understanding of how that slippage is affected.
And I realized after doing it with you, part of the reason why trading is so difficult is because so many things are out of your control, right? But the thing that we can control is slippage and commissions. And just by getting like a spotlight on, like clarity on what we can see, like we're not mixing commissions, slippage and profit and loss, mixing them together into a big soup and saying, oh, fuck it, it's all okay. Like there's just not enough clarity in that process to not exacerbate to me, it really exacerbates the whole confusion and powerlessness and of the thing. So I learn a lot from doing that with you. Do you want to do it in the morning my time or in the afternoon my time? Let's add it to the calendar.
Whatever works for you. You call me.
I'm doing
text,
both.
I'll be available.
I'm doing both. So whichever suits you, you can do it at the same time as me.
Let's see. The afternoon time is for you, so that's what time for me. You'll be doing it. I
can do it at 7:30 my time, which I think is 6:30 or 8:30 p.m. 7:30 a.m. or I can do it at 4 p.m. my time.
So 4 p.m. your time on Monday
or 5 p.m. my time. Either or. I'm doing
3. Yeah, and I'll tell you what. Whatever slot you got available from your time, because you're 11 hours ahead of me.
Yep.
So it'll be your Monday morning. It'll be my Sunday night.
All right, let's add it in.
Yeah.
30. Guests.
While you're doing that, Deepesh, I love the fact that your penthouse just rotated views. I like that background. That's nice.
He's got some good backgrounds, right?
It's all virtual, my man. All these kids, getting PhD in Zoom these days and whatnot. So.
I have yet to have. I have a 17-year-old son, Deepesh, and I refuse to ask him how to do this because he'll just. In the end, he gives. We have this joke, Deepesh. We call it the nursing home pat, meaning I'm getting so old. He does this. He'll reach over and go, "It's okay, Dad. I got you. It's okay." And then he'll call me. In the United States, he'll do this. "You got this, Tiger. It's okay, champ."
I'm yet to get there, but I will get there. I know for sure.
I'm telling you, just send them to private school. Just see them on holidays. When they hit the teenagers, it'll be better.
Nice. Scott, quick question: What execution is this? Is this? Sorry.
Yeah, happy to bring you along for that too if you want. I'm just showing people actually, I can run it through you guys now if you want. I'm moving towards a more professional execution logic. So what I'm doing is I show people how I think about getting the best execution price on the day. So if you want, I can run through that with you now.
Okay, sure. And is this something which is which you send the email for? Like, okay, see the last day's closing price.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few different permutations of it, depending on if you're making or losing money, or if the market's moving or not moving. And if the market is very quiet, the essence of it is, if the market is very quiet, you can get a bit cheeky. If the market is medium quiet without being too quiet, you can take a few risks and go, okay, I'll try and get a slightly better price and get cute. If the market is moving very quickly, like it was in the middle of this crash, you can't get cute. You can't take any risks. You just got to get in and fuck it and see what happens, right? Unless the market is crashing in your direction, in which case, hey, hang on, whoa, it might be better if we just hands off the steering wheel for a while and if you saw a crash like this happening in mid-flight, and you've got to sell some coins and buy some new coins, like where was that happening? If you saw this in mid-flight, then I would sell my other coins and say, okay, hold on, I'm not buying anything new until the knife sticks in the ground. That might be a decision to make too. So the way that I think about it, actually, it's going to be easier to look at. So first of all, I bring up a chart with all 5 of the coins that we hold. So so this is what we're holding for the week. The red line is the prices. Let's say that we're supposed to execute like right now, like right this second. So first of all, I'm looking for things that are likely to move. So AVAX is likely to move. Luna is likely to move, right? But they're likely to move in our favor or not against us. So the optimal strategy is probably to do these two last, because chances are they're going to be going higher by the time I want to sell them, right? Or you probably won't sell them because they're still the strongest coins. So which ones are in most danger of falling below the benchmark price? I would say probably Sol and probably Qtum, but not really. And then the next, sorry. So the next thing I would do is say, okay, we're doing Sol first. I'll drop it back to an hour price and say, okay, what does that look like? So before I do that, I should draw a line at the daily close price. So the daily close is 0.004009. Close enough. Okay, I have to beat this price to get no slippage. So the next thing I'm going to do is drop that down to an hour and see how feasible that is. Okay, so right now we're slightly below that price, but it seems pretty feasible to beat that price, right?
When you
like
say,
it doesn't seem like
that price. I'm sorry, Scott. When you say beat the price, you mean purchase it at a lower value.
Well, so this week we would have to sell this and buy something else at a lower value. So when you're selling something, you want to sell it at a higher price if you can, right?
Well, you're saying sell it. I'm looking to, okay, so if I were to sell this coin, just Sol, for example, yep, I'd like it to go over the original entry price.
I'd like it to go over, not the original entry price, which is way back here. I'd like it to go above the daily close price, which is here. If I get this red line, what I'm going to do is match the system performance. So the benchmark is matching system performance. And also there's a little question of, can you be a little bit cute and get a little bit more? And I would say here, looking at that it's perfectly reasonable to get a bit cute and set a limit order a little bit above.
Okay, so if I'm looking to sell this coin, I'm looking to sell it slightly above the previous day's close that we're dealing with.
Yes, and that's positive slippage. That's like just free money for you. On and over the top of what the system is.
And if we'll flip this, let's say this is the coin we were going to buy. My goal would then be to be below that line.
Yes. Now let's flip on that and say we're trying to buy it. Would you want to get cute and set a limit order for down here? I would say that would be very, very dangerous. Like there's a big chance that you're going to get not filled. Right. What I would do if I was trying to buy this coin is set the limit right there at no slippage. I think you're going to get filled. And then let's drop it down just before we check to a 5-minute chart and say, okay, are we going to get filled there? Probably. But if you don't get filled, if this just keeps going and going and going, you have to jump in. So what I would do is place this order, go and do the other four coins. And if it's still not filled, then come back and jump in.
Gotcha. Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So we start with the daily, we go to a 1 hourly, and then we do a check of the 5-minute just before. So the first thing we're doing is checking which order are we going to do these things in. And Sol is the time critical one. You can see that it's time critical. If we wait 20 minutes before we do it, this thing could be up here and we could get fucked, right? So we want to do the one that's most likely to fuck us first. Okay, so we've got Sol out of the way. and we leave that order to fill. We would do either which ones would you say we'd do next?
Scott, can I repeat what I understood so that it's clear to how far how far my brain has caught up with you?
Sure.
So we start with the daily. We
start with what I call a triage of the daily. So we're looking for which one is likely to move while we're doing this. So which one has to be first?
Okay. So looking, like, for example, just quickly looking at the current view where all 5 of them are there.
Yep.
I don't think I can say which ones are likely to move. So for example.
Okay. So which ones do you think are the ones that are obviously in the process of moving?
In the process of moving, for sure, Luna, right?
And yep.
Yeah, Luna for sure is in the process of moving.
And AVAX, this one.
And AVAX, yes, because of these huge candles, right?
Okay, so if you were buying these, you would do these first because these are tricky. These are moving now. If you were selling them, you might hold off because there's a pretty good chance you're going to get a better price, right? Like,
okay.
Because it's going to take us 10, 20 minutes to do it. In 10 minutes, it might have gone up. So which ones are we likely to get fucked on? This one is probably one there's not much in it, but this one is probably the one that's line ball. Like, could go either way. So we took care of this one first. Now, which one would you do next? If we're doing these 2 last, we've already done this one. Between QTUM and Coty, which one would you do?
Coty?
Between this one and this
one. I would say QTUM, right?
There's not much in it, but yeah.
I'm looking to sell this coin, you said, Scott?
I think he got dropped. We lost him. All of us are moving except him.
By the way, good morning, Michael, or good afternoon, wherever you are.
Good morning, Michael.
Yes, good morning. I'm in Sydney, in Australia.
Yeah, and it is good morning to you, sir.
I just I'd pulled my system apart during the week to take the camera and microphone to my office, and I'd forgotten I'd done that. So when I hooked on, I had to set up again.
Hey, Scott's system completely crashed. She'll be back in 2 minutes. Can you let the guys know?
Yep, we are the guys. Hey, Mark, you can hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Hey, Mark.
Very good. Very good. This is my first.
So Mark, where are you finding morning or evening to you, sir?
It is morning. I'm okay. North of Michael there. I'm in Queensland.
Beautiful.
So I call it the lucky state at the moment with everything's going on. So poor Michael down there in Sydney, I'd say, is been in lockdown for a little while.
That's correct. Yeah.
I'm just here in the States. I'm just praying. I have no idea. It's craziness over here.
Stefan,
a bit of an unknown.
I'm sorry, what was that, Dipesh?
Sorry, I intervened, Mark. Please go ahead.
Sorry, I missed it as well. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I was just going to ask Stefan, which part of US are you in?
I'm on the East Coast. I'm near the city of Philadelphia.
Okay. Got it.
So I'm about 4 hours south of New York.
Nice. I myself in Tokyo. And
nice.
9:15 a.m. for me.
Yeah, I like Tokyo. It's a town I enjoy.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Have you guys been part of Scott's group for a little while?
Yeah, this crypto system, I've been part of this since the very beginning, which was, I think, March
Yeah.
time frame.
Okay.
And
I started with Scott a year and a half ago scalping.
me too.
Right.
I'm yet to actually understand the prison paycheck. So Scott's
Oh,
back.
listen, Dipesh, I'm going to tell you what solved my problem. I swear to God, honestly, this is the easiest thing in the world. And I struggled because I'd make money, lose money, and I was going off my mind. And then Scott put it to me plain and simple: stop thinking. Meaning the rules are super simple. It's they're almost yes or no. And once I started doing that and doing a little check system, like check this, check. Wasn't, oh, it could be maybe. Dude, it's been a life changer.
It makes sense.
I stopped overthinking it. It's that simple. I complex the crud out of it. Hey, he's back.
He's back.
Sorry, guys, my computer crashes periodically in a way that I don't know, and I'm scared to change computers. So, yeah. Okay, so what we talked about is executing these things, and we already placed the hypothetical exit for Solana, and that would have it's a 5-minute chart, and you can see that we were going to place our order like right here, and it already would have filled. So that you remember our daily chart benchmark was right here. So it should get lower. It's 40. $40.09. So that's close enough to it. So this was the red line was the benchmark we had to beat, and we were going to say we'd place an order a little bit above that and hope that it got filled. And in the last 5 minutes, it would have got filled. You can see that. That clearly. So by being a little bit cute, we've snagged ourselves another 300 satoshis, which is what. So we've snaggled ourselves at about another 0.7 of a. So not much, but just like another 0.7 of a percent, it's not nothing. It adds up, right? So now we can forget about that one. We move on to the next one. Remember, this one is falling right now, but if you see a giant candle like this, you don't really need to worry about it falling because the odds are very high that it'll get up to at least the closing price. So you can comfortably put in a limit order at the old closing price here, and it'll almost certainly get filled. Like 99 times out of 100, a limit order there is going to get filled at some point. Like it would be unusual for it just to fall off the plate there. So that one's an easy take care of. QTUM is the next one. So what are we trying to beat? We're trying to beat 28.48. So put a little line on it here.
Scott, what's the upper red line about?
The upper red line was when we bought. So we're selling this at a loss. So if we're selling this at a loss, we don't want to have even more of a loss than we've got, right? So ideally, we want to have it, right on here to add 28.49. So now we drop down to an hour and we say, well, what are the odds of getting filled at this bar? Pretty good, right? Like the odds of getting filled at this bar are somewhere above this red line are pretty good. Where would you place your order? Would you get a little bit cute? Would you get a lot cute? If we have a trading range, you could, if we're obviously going up, it's not unreasonable to try for like a real slippage, real positive slippage. So where would you guys place that order?
You're looking to place that order, Scott, trying to roughly.
So we're looking to trying to beat this red line. This is a 1 hour chart.
I'd be putting it somewhere, if you zoom in right above the top of the close there on that bar, because it came up and I know, yeah. So I'd look for somewhere close to that area, a little lower than that. The goal of beating is either paying a little positive slippage to cover my commissions if I can get it. That's range bound, that's different, but I'd love to see, somewhere above the close of the previous, and closer to the 1, 2, 3, 4 candles back, maybe somewhere near that high. Yeah, right there, somewhere there. About
here-ish?
Yeah, I'm thinking that'd be a good place.
Okay, so that's a very conservative thing without being too adventurous. You're going to get that filled almost every time. So the way that you think about these orders in terms of what happens if I don't get filled. So if I don't get filled by the time I finished all my orders, we come back and revisit and go, okay, are we likely to get a fill? If so, we can just leave it for a couple of hours and come back. And then what happens if we don't get a fill? So in general, the way that I'm thinking of it is I'm willing to leave an order on for a couple of hours if I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a fill, but I want to have a set time. And for me, that set timer is 8 hours away. I'll come back 8 hours later. If it's not filled, then I'll jump in a bucket, right? Then I'll jump in at whatever the price is now. So I don't want to leave it as being an open-ended. I'll just leave it on forever and assume I'm going to get a fill because one day that might happen. I'm just giving it 8 hours and I'm just trying to beat the benchmark. So I think that here that's perfect. That's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. If you wanted to get cute and it was like absolutely obvious, you could go for a little bit more. But this isn't really a situation where it's, so for me, the threshold mentally for going for a bit more and being a bit cute is it really, really obvious? It has to be like super obvious, right? Like not just like, I think this one could go up. So then we'll go to, well, which one do we do next? We've done Sol, we've done Luna, we've done QTUM. What?
Scott, quick question. This is Dipesh. On the last chart, where we were speaking on the 5 minutes one, where when we were talking about placing the order, the limit order, at little bit higher than the close, you see there is a hammer candle there, right? So would it be too much to expect to have the high to put the limit order at high?
So okay, so this is a good question, and so it would be a little bit more aggressive going for something up here, right? But not completely out, like not completely crazy. So if you wanted to be a little bit aggressive here, that would be an okay spot. And the way that I would handle it is to, place a limit order somewhere around here, go and place your other orders, and then come back to this one and see what it's doing. If it's starting to go up here, then you might leave that on. If it's like, oh, this hammer candle was just a pit stop on the way back down, you would have to be adjusted all the way back down to here. You couldn't continue to be so aggressive. So the way that I think about being aggressive in terms of the orders that I can place is I want to be aggressive within the time frame of the time that I'm executing the orders. So if I've got 20 minutes to do this, I want to be aggressive in terms of something that I can get a fill in the next 20 minutes while I'm doing this. I don't want this to just all of a sudden take over my whole day and I've got a new job. It's like staring at the screen. That makes for a terrible day, right? So mentally ask yourself the question, where is reasonable to get to in the next 4 or 5 candles?
Right, got it.
And without, trying to top tick it or be super, super cute, we're just trying to, shave fractions of a percent where we can and pay for the commissions, get the commissions working for us instead of against us. You know what I mean? Like, just commissions are quite high in crypto. So we just want to be conscious of it and beating them where we can.
Right, absolutely. Understand. So
Okay.
with the, sorry, one more quick question. With the hammer candle, what is it that is, what's the psychology of the market right now? So there's a hammer candle.
So the psychology of the market is clearly, anytime you see a giant wick 5-minute candle like this, that's a stop, especially if it's come back down. That's a stop run. So evidently there was a lot of short stops right here. They all got squeezed. And then after that, there was a vacuum of buying pressure. There wasn't enough buying pressure. So it fell back down. And now the market is deciding. It's deciding, was that move up the start of a bigger move up? Was it the start of a move up to here? Or was it just a flash in the pan fake out and it's going to go back down here? Now, when I look at that, I think that's probably a move up to somewhere like here. But when I think about probably, the way that we always think, oh, that's probably going to happen, it doesn't really mean probably. What it means is 60-40. Like, most of the time, the odds in any sort of market don't get much better than 60-40. So when you think you know what's probably going to happen, you probably only know 60-40. So in our brains, the way that we calculate probabilities is completely broken as human beings, for all of us, me and everyone else. So when you think that's definitely going to happen, you really only think 60-40, 65-35 at best. It doesn't get much better than that. And the kicker is, if something that's a low probability outcome happens, you get a much bigger move. So when the market should have gone up and you think that's a dead certainty to go up, that's a 70% chance of going up, and it goes down instead, it's going to catch everyone by surprise and cause a bigger move down. So that's why this is so difficult, right? So what we're trying to do here is, we've got to keep in mind what we're trying to do is just beat the commissions and control our costs. We're not trying to get cute and be day traders. Like, that's not the game we're playing. If you wanted to be really cute, you could hang on and try and get a better price. But don't forget, we're selling these 5 coins, or probably selling 3 out of the 5 and buying 3 new ones. Those new ones might be going up as fast as these ones, or even faster. So you might think you're going to get cute and hold out for a better entry here. And then by the same time, you've got that money and you've got to go buy something else with it. You've got to pay up for that. So you just went through a whole bunch of like annoying stuff for no net result, or a very small net result. So we want to be conscious of that. So most of the time we want to be done and dusted in 10 or 20 minutes. We don't want this to draw out. We don't want it to be a difficult thing. So we got through Sol, we got through Luna, we got through Qtum. AVAX is clearly moving in our favor, just like in the time we've been talking about it, it's moved quite significantly, right? So we should do this one next, right? Okay. This red line is our buy price. Let's put another line in for at 670 is a sell price. Color. Back to the correct place. Okay, so we're below our benchmark price here. Let's have a look at it. You think that's going up or down, or what's it doing?
Looks like down to me.
Well, it could go either way, but it looks downish, right? So at this point, I don't want to be aggressive with it. what I want to do is drop down, set a limit order at this blue line, try and go for zero slippage. But there's a significant chance that's going to fall off the plate, right? How do you handle this? First of all, are we unlikely to get that fill? I'd probably be willing to leave that on for an hour or 2 hours and then come back and if it doesn't fill.
Oh yeah, because it looks like you're at the bottom of a trading range there, so there's a possibility you could come back.
It looks like a trading range, so we can reasonably expect choppy moves, and even you can see it's finding a bottom here. So I would just leave this run for a while and go do the other one and see if it fills. So we just leave this. So we leave this order here, and we've got one more to do. One more to do is AVAX. So how do we handle this? We've got the thing going up. We don't want to get too cute. We've just made a nice, we're trying to beat 1017. We're already up 10% or so just in the time we've been talking about it. So our price here is 11002. Let's look at a 1 hour chart now and say, okay, that's clearly going up. I don't want to get too cute. How do I know what price that I want to place my order? So we go to whatever your exchange is, trade, Coinbase, AVAX.
Yeah, you're looking at BNB market.
Oh. Might have to log in. Grab my authenticated key. No, authenticated keys out of battery. I have another thing. There's an account with my money in it, but trade. Let's see. Okay. So if we look at AVAX BTC, we've got this is the prices people willing to sell. This is the prices people willing to buy. This is the last traded price, and this is green if the last traded price was an uptick, as in the buyer was willing to cross the spread and buy at market. It's red if the seller was willing to cross the spread and pay the market. So if you think about it, buyers and sellers are here with a little gap between them, and it's like which one pussies out and defects to the other side. And so you can see the sellers just took brief control, and we've got these market trades are all happening. These are the last trades. You can tell that these were all happening on an uptick, and now they're all happening on a downtick. So you see it kind of happens in waves. Like, are we green going up? Are we red going down? And then the greens take over, and then the reds take over, and then the greens take over, and then the reds take over, like that. So what I usually do is I sit and watch this for like 10 seconds. I go, okay, what is there a rhythm to it? Like, are we moving really fast? We're going up fast, and up is better for me. And then I look at where's the sell price and where's the buy price, and somewhere in between, usually around here, this is a good place to get filled. And so I will place my limit order. So I'm selling and I'm placing, click on that, and it places it here, or 367 or well, it's going up. So maybe I'd get cute and go 400, the amount, sell all the shit that I've got, whatever it is, and then click sell, and you can see that would have been immediately filled at 400. Does that make sense? So what I'm doing when I finally decide to pull the trigger on what's essentially a market order, it's essentially a market order, but I don't want to treat it as a market order because I'll be paying the slippage. What I want to do is have a close look at this and say, where is a reasonable place to place an order that I'm going to get filled in 10 seconds or so? Does that make sense?
Yes, Scott.
Yes,
Stefan,
it does.
we're good?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so once we've got that one out of the way, then what have we got to do? We've got to go back and check Coty, QTUM already got a fill. And so we've done 4 out of our 5, and we've got positive slippage on them all. We take another look at this and go, can we get out of this with 0 slippage? What do you think? Like, can we place an order to sell at this blue line and get a fill? That's our one remaining question for the day. What do you think? Would you take a punt on that?
Problem is, it looks like it's broken below that little channel right now. So, I mean, the trading range that you had here, it looks like it's dropped below that price and now seems to be bouncing off the bottom of that trading range. I don't know if you're going to get that fill.
I think you'll probably get the fill because it's bouncing off a trading range low. The way that I would do this is I would set this out for probably 10 minutes and I would set an alert. So an easy thing to do is to set an alert here, add alert on trend line, crossing only once, have it sent to you an email or send there's an option in there to send an SMS to you. So you can have send email to SMS. And then walk away and you're going to get an email if it crosses over here or an SMS or whatever. And then if it comes back here, then you're probably going to have to suck it up and do this same process that we did here. What's a reasonable place to get filled right there? Now, this is advanced stuff. This is like orders of magnitude more complicated than just hitting market sell, market buy, right? Like this is really kind of black belt trading, right? Like this is not for everyone and it's not particularly easy and you don't have to do it. But if you're making an extra 1% or even 0.5% every week, if we compound this account up, this 0.5% now is 5% on at the end of the day, right? Like these small things roll in with the power of compounding. And what I find is that I get a great degree of satisfaction from doing things completely professional. Now, the other side of this is we want to keep records. So how do you keep those records? So you can see this one's going to get a fill for sure. Like by making an intelligent decision, we're going to get a fill in the next few minutes. So now I'll bring up my spreadsheet. Now, these things reject like a one-size-fits-all spreadsheet. So I'll show you the way I do it. I just make a new spreadsheet for a rollover. I put in my benchmark, like what's the closing price of the previous day. And sometimes you might be selling some Bitcoin and some tethers, or you might be selling Ethereum for it. So I might need 2 lines for the one coin, or I might not. Last week I had some Ethereum and I sold the QTUM to Ethereum for it. And I work out what's my benchmark and what did I get and what was my slippage. And you can see here last week I got no positive slippage, 1/5%, 1/6%, 1/5%, 3%. and negative slippage of 0.78. But overall, I was at 0.49. And when Stefan did it, he did substantially better than me. He got Luna when it crashed down 10%. So he was able to beat that. And so Stefan's price was 0.5917. And if we look at that this week, Stefan's price was right here. So he substantially beat that, right? And then the others, he got all positive slippage as well. So he was 2.77% in front, and he was significantly in front of me. So that little win on execution translates to more profit, like directly into more profit. And that's what we're trying to do. Just shape a little bit off the top every week. And it's not necessarily harder. Well, it is harder. Actually, it is harder. But once we do it a couple of times together, you guys will be right in with it. And I want you to keep these spreadsheets. So just, crypto rollover, when is the 11th or 13th of September. And just either make a new spreadsheet, which is what I do, or just put it at the bottom of an existing spreadsheet and do it like that. See you, Mark.
See you guys. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so is that kind of clear?
Getting clearer.
It is clearer. I agree.
Let's go through it again.
Yeah, please.
All right. Right from the beginning. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is put everything on daily charts. Okay, we can see how Coach got a fill there.
Scott, sorry, quick question.
Sure.
I don't have the TradingView paid account yet. So
You just have one and just cycle between them. It's actually what I usually do anyway. My eyesight is failing from spending too much time on the screen, so I just have a list and I go through them one at a time. Sol, Qtum, Luna, So let's do it like that, so you understand how to do it. So we're taking our list of 5 coins: Sol, Luna, Qtum, Koti, and AVAX. And what we're looking for is ones that might be going down right now, ones where the price is around here, or where the price is likely to be moving really quick, right? So Sol, what's your feeling about that? Could go either way, right? Okay, so something that could go either way is something that we want to probably pay attention to first. So let's look at Qtum next. We're trying to beat this. We're already above that price. What's your feeling about this?
this is uptrending.
Yeah, and well, it's not really about, because we're talking about only the next 10 minutes or so, and this is a daily chart. What we're really looking for is the overlap between these bars. If we see a situation where we've got something like this, where there's very little overlap between bars, we know that the thing could fall very quickly. It could do this. So those are the situations that become urgent. But here we've got, very big overlap between this day and the next day. Obviously, that's a small time frame trading range. That's not particularly urgent.
Okay.
So the next one is AVAX. Now, this is obviously moving very fast. but it's moving in our favor. So as long as the things go, so this is a 5-minute chart. Probably if we wait 5 minutes, we're going to get a better price, right? So I would probably put that one near to last on the list. And Luna, what's your thoughts about that?
It's going up.
It's going up, exactly. So, you know, I wouldn't want to get too cute there, but I think we're pretty comfortable getting out for the price we want. So we've got to decide on an order to do these things. So what would be, so Deepesh, what would be the order that you'd attack these in?
Yeah, so the ones which are going up, like Luna, AVAX, we're going to put them for last. We're going to wait on them.
Yep.
What we would take first is something like Sol.
Yep.
And maybe Koti.
Exactly. So the way I would think about it is AVAX and Luna are definitely last and second last. QTUM, we're already beating our benchmark, so there's nothing particularly urgent about that. We're going to beat it anyway. So that's probably third last. And then either of Sol and Koti, first and second. Now, how would I decide which one is first and which one is second? I would say which one is closest, which one is most in danger of fucking us if we don't pay attention. And which one of those two is it?
I would say Koti.
Let's take a closer look.
Yeah.
So we've got to get the blue line, and
Okay.
let's look at it on a 1 hour chart. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you are right. And
Sorry, why am I right?
so I'll show you where you are. Just remove that. And let's put the 5-minute chart on. There you go, so you can see it. So you remember when we placed the order, before, it was here, and we were hoping to get this blue line.
Right.
If you just came into it now, you're still hoping to get the blue line. How certain are you of that?
Yeah, absolute certain.
Here we go, and you've just gotten a fill. So that would be the first one that we try and do. And this one, because we're below the benchmark right now, hoping to get the benchmark, we're not trying to get cute. We're not trying to sell out up here. We're not trying to be ambitious. We're just trying to not get any negative slippage.
To make the mark, yeah.
So this one has just hit that blue line. Our order's gotten filled. We can move on to the next one. Okay. What was the next one? The next one was QTUM, right? Oh, the next one was Sol.
Sol, yeah.
Okay, so let's look at that. So our benchmark is 40009. Let's look at first a 1 hourly chart. So this is the benchmark. When we were here, we decided that we could probably hold out for a bit here. What's your thinking now? Where would you, if you didn't have an order placed, you come in and you see that, where do you think is reasonable to place an order?
Yeah, if it was me, I would not play conservative, and I'll try to get cute and put it on the high of this bar. Yeah.
I think that's what I would do too. I think I would think it's reasonable to break this line in the next sort of 10 or 15 minutes while we're here, right?
Hmm.
And so by doing so, you would get from 580 from 409 to 583. So that's 75. So that's 1.8%. Perfectly worth doing, right? Like perfectly worth doing. And you can see we're going to get it in the next couple of minutes. No biggie. So at this point, you've still got work to do. So just leave that one going. Drop back to your next one.
Sorry, Scott.
We did.
Sorry, quick one. When you say leave, you mean put the market order for the high and just leave it, or just
Not a market, a limit order. We put a limit order on.
Sorry, not market, limit. Yes, my bad. Yes.
And then move on to the next one, and we come back to that when we're done.
Right.
So what we're doing is, if you're giving it like 10 minutes to fill, we'll go do our other work, and we'll come back to it. If it hasn't filled, then we'll make another decision. And so we're running through like a decision tree.
Got it.
Okay, so Coty was first, and you can see that Coty, we just got to fill, so we're good there. This one we'll leave run. What's our next one?
Next one was QTAM, right?
Exactly so. Okay. So we have to beat this line, this red line here. We're already beating the red line. So at this point, let's quickly look at a 5-minute chart and see, is there any advantage in holding out for here? I don't know that there is. Like, I don't know if it's going to come down or go up. I would try and execute around here. So if you don't have a definitive feeling either way, like, you know, if you saw this candle breaking up high, then you might want to get cute. But right here, I don't think there's too much of an edge. So what we would do is go to, let's go to QTAM, BTC. And what I want to do is I want to watch this for 10 seconds or so. And these are the market trades. And you can see the green ones are ones where buyers are in control, and the red ones are sellers in control. We just look and go, okay, this is about even, right? Like this, it's not clearly one side or the other kicking the other side's ass, right? So if we see a pretty even mix between reds and greens, we're probably right in the middle. And these are the prices the sellers are willing to sell at. Now, we have to take into account that you might have 100 grand worth of shit to sell here. So that's a very different than selling 5 grand, right? So I'm buying and selling 100 grand worth of these things. And so I have 100 grand worth to sell. I have to look here and go, okay, well, what's a QTAM worth? So it's worth 13 bucks. And go, okay, on the offer here, we've got, you know, about 1,500 by 13 is, there's up to about here, there's 150 grand on the offer. So what I mean is that I can get 150 grand worth sold with 7 Satoshis of slippage, which isn't too bad. Or I can get cute and wait for them to get filled. So if I look at that and I go, okay, the market's drifting up, I'd probably, you know, if I have 100 grand worth to sell, I'd probably sell it at 0.2879 and place my limit order to sell at 0.2879. Move that up to there and hit sell, and then wait for that to fill or not fill, and it'll start chipping away. It'll probably, you know, fill 20% of it straight away, 30% in the next 20 seconds, that kind of thing. So it gets a little bit different when you're dealing with big numbers, right? And you can see that my order would have been filled already, like 2907. It all definitely would have been filled, right?
Scott, for these altcoins, what number is a big number when we have to start looking at this liquidity?
About 50 grand on each position.
Okay. 50 grand per
Actually, that's not true. It depends on the coin. So some of these smaller coins like the DCR and the RSR, like stuff you haven't heard of, just be a bit more careful. Like you want to check it. And so the way that we check it is just by working out what one of these things is worth. Like, let's say we're doing RSR. So, okay, it's worth 3.5 cents. And then we go to RSR BTC. And you can see that's a very thin market. So anything that you got candles that looks like this, that's a shit market. So if you get something that this is almost on the verge of being, this is a very low liquidity market. Like you can see straight away that what's our last sales in the last from 7.59 to 7.49. So in the last 10 minutes, we've got 100,000 3-cent sales. So we've got $3,000 worth in the last 10 minutes. This is something that's going to be problematical to fill 100 grand, right? Mm-hmm. So how do we approach this? The first thing we do is check what other liquidity is there. So let's check, first of all, USDT and then the other ones to see, is it any better here? And from 801, you can see immediately that there's a lot more transactions going through. So the real liquidity in this is in USD tethers, and you can see that the chart for this coin looks much better, looks like a real chart in USD tethers. So if you were doing RSR, I would do it all through tethers. So that's your decision tree there. So most of the time, Bitcoin pairs are fine, and for some of them, Bitcoin pairs are the best. For some of these smaller coins, they look like crap against Bitcoin. You know, that's just a huge red flag, right?
Right.
But here, not so bad.
Right.
Okay, so we definitely would have got our fill there. Put that back to a daily chart and move on to the next one. So where is our last two that we're dealing with? AVAX and Luna. Which of those two would you do first? Which is the one that's in the most danger of fucking?
My hunch says Luna because it's gone too far out and it's still consolidating.
It's even simpler than that. Luna is in most danger of fucking you because it's already fucked us. Like we are below the red line.
Right.
So it's as simple as that. Something where we're behind the 8 ball is more urgent than something where we've got a profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's put our attention on this. First of all, drop it back to an hourly chart. And go, how certain are we of hitting this red line?
Yeah, it looks difficult from the way it is right now.
It looks like there's every chance it could fall off the plate, right?
Yeah.
This one here, I wouldn't take the risk. We've done really well in our execution so far. I wouldn't take the risk here. What I would probably do is place an order here and then go and fill the other one, and then come back. If I've finished and this still hasn't filled, then I would choose a limit order. Then I would choose a limit order somewhere between best bid and best offer. So I would choose something like that after 5 minutes. So let's do that. Let's leave this. Let's leave this on, and let's no. So if it hits that blue line, we get the fill, and then we go out and we do our one remaining coin, which is AVAX. Okay, so AVAX, we've got to beat the blue line. We're well in front of it. Let's look at it first on a 1 hourly chart. Looks great. On a 5 minute chart, where do you want to place your order? where do you think is reasonable for the next couple of minutes without getting too cute?
The open for this bar.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. I would have said the high of that bar, but the open is just about. Yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable place to expect a fill. So let's place that order. Let's give it 5 minutes, and let's see if it fills. And while we're doing that, let's come back to our other one, which was
Luna.
And you can see that Luna is almost certainly going to fill that.
Right.
And so by this process of triaging it, we're putting the most important ones first. And then we're kind of like cycling through and coming back to it, give it a few minutes, cycle through, coming back to it. We're working towards a more professional approach where we can just maximize our advantage. Make sense?
Yep, absolutely. Got it. Thanks, Scott.
All right. Let me just go to the bathroom and we'll come back and check these other things and make sure they would have got a fill.
Stefan, quick question.
Sure.
With the prison paycheck system, have you been able to make consistent money out of it? Like,
Oh yeah.
You are? Okay.
So Dipesh, this week alone, my return this week alone is over 17%.
17%. Okay, got it. And do you like just have okay, these are the 2 hours I'm gonna work? Is that how you approach this, or do you?
So being in Eastern Standard Time, so we'll work kind of backwards from you're in the Asian session. So what I do is I get up at 2 US. Then
Right.
what I do, Dipesh, is I start at 3. So I catch just the Asian in the London.
Okay.
And then I trade a few hours into London. Then I have a regular job that I go to.
Got it.
But I've been working on trading in the Asian market, and I'm starting to have success with it.
Nice. Thanks, Stefan.
And yeah, no, anytime.
So where are we now? Our AVAX hasn't filled after 5 minutes. Our Luna has filled. Has filled? No, it hasn't filled yet.
No, hasn't filled.
Hasn't filled. So here we are. We finished our work for the day. We've got 2 unfilled orders. What's the process here? Do we stick around and watch? So the way that I think about it is I have 2 potential things. I have one, give it 1 hour and check again in an hour. And I have the other thing is check again in 8 hours. At 8 hours, fuck it, I'm just like getting out really quick, right? I don't want to get into the waiting game sort of thing. What would you do here? You've got these 2 orders to fill here and here. Would you give it 1 hour? Would you give it 8 hours? Or would you say, oh no, this looks like it's going bad. I'll just jump out at market. I'll just jump out at, limit order close to market.
Right now, without your mentorship, what I would do is I would jump at the limit at the market order and get it done with. I really don't.
So that would be perfectly reasonable for AVAX. Like, who knows if that's a top. Actually, I would probably wait for AVAX. I think the odds are pretty strong that we get back up to there. But as long as we beat this blue line, we're in front, right? So you can still do that right now. The other one, Luna, I think we still look in pretty good shape there. I'd be pretty confident that that's going to get a fill. So I would probably leave this one go, and I'm with you. I would be starting to think about jumping out on AVAX. So AVAX looks like this. That looks like it's going to go down further before it goes back up. I would be trying to jump out right about that.
Right, right.
So as long as we beat this blue line, we're in front. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Now,
I am.
this is much more complicated than what you're going to have to do in real life, because we've done all 5. Most of the time, you know, I can tell you this week, we're not going to be selling probably Luna and Sol and AVAX, because they're still the strongest coins, right? Like, they haven't fallen out the strongest coins. So we're probably only selling 2 out of the 5, right? And buying 2 new ones. So it's not really 5 that we have to do. It's really probably 2 or 3 we have to do most weeks, right? So this is a worst case scenario.
Got it.
Makes sense?
Absolutely. Thank you.
And you can see this is probably gonna bounce now. And so I think, honestly, I think it's worth doing.
Scott, I'm yet to teach myself the patience, like, okay, keeping a limit order for 8 hours. I don't think I have ever done that in my life.
Okay, so let me show you when is the time to do that. That's kind of a good question. So when, let's see what I pay the chat. So I primarily make those decisions on the daily chart. So this one was quite a difficult decision last week, because it looked like that. I know that even if it goes up, almost certainly there'll be a significant overlap with the bar. So if we go back to where it was last week, this was the time that, okay, so this was the close. It went up a bit, came back down, filled me, and then ran away. I know that that's almost certainly going to happen. I mean, it was, you know, it was a particularly lucky entry. I got in like literally right here before I did that. But I'm pretty comfortable doing that. Like that's kind of an aggressive move, but you know, if you understand price action, you can make a pretty good guess of the time when it's likely to do it. And it's most of the time. So if we look here, if you placed an order at the daily highs, let's look at the times that it would not have got filled, or at the daily close. So here, the daily close is 9220. We definitely got to fill. Here, the close is 8852. Definitely got to fill. Here, the close definitely got to fill. Here's the close, 8924, and we see the low is 8923, so we got to fill. Here, the close is 9146, and the low is 8925, so we got to fill. Here, the close is 9250, and the low is 9169, so we've got to fill. Here, the close is 9386, and we definitely got to fill. Here, the close is 9374. The low is 9317. So we've got to fill. 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 We 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 got to fill. So how many days in a row? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Sort of 50 days and 50 consecutive days, we're getting a fill, right? So it seems like a risky thing to do, but this is a very strongly trending market, right? And even in a strongly trending market, 50 days in a row, we were able to get cute with no accidents happening. Like, that's not to say there's not a 1% accident chance happening for you, but still, I can't see one of these times here where you didn't get a fill. Like, to get a fill, you have to have overlap with the previous day's close, and every one of these has overlap. Even this one. Yeah, all of these have overlap with the previous close, all the way back. So, I mean, so I think you've got, you know, I think it's sort of 98% chance of getting a fill. You know, whether that happens in 8 hours, like after 8 hours, I'm not stretching the friendship anymore. I'm not getting cute. I'm just jumping in. But it works most of the time, like near enough to all the time as it doesn't matter. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is it's not as risky as you think it is.
Got it. Understand, Sam. Thank you. I really appreciate for today's session.
No, I think it's really cool work to do. Really cool work to do.
Yeah. In the next session, so, if you're okay, if I may request, there's tax, crypto related tax, how to deal with that. It's not, I'm not interested much in, I know there's different taxation, different, you know, systems per country and all, but how to consolidate the
okay, for a start, you should get your tax advice on people who pay for tax advice. Like, I'm definitely the wrong guy. Even though I actually have an accounting degree, I hate accounting, and it's a terrible, terrible mistake. Personally, I do most of my trading in a tax-protected structure. You know, I have a family trust and, you know, a bunch of other shit in Australia. But it depends on the country. America is very different. In common law jurisdictions, which is Canada, Hong Kong, Australia, Britain, and those types of places, the test is: are you carrying on the business of crypto trading speculation? And it's are you running a business doing this, or is it a hobby? That's the test. That may be different in other places, and some places are crypto tax free, some places aren't. It's like, it's not something that I have any knowledge of the law in Japan whatsoever.
No, absolutely not. I just wanted to understand, can we pull out, like, for example, if we're using Binance for the crypto, can we pull out all the transactions, like, you know?
Yes, yeah, they have a export
statement out of
that. And it's a nightmare anyway. Like it's tax and crypto isn't fun. And you should pay your tax on crypto, by the way. Like,
yes.
Because these records are permanent on the blockchain.
Right.
The last thing you want is in 10 years, they've got an AI powerful enough to go back through all your records and find out that you think you got away with it because no one noticed, and then 10 years down the track, they catch up with you and hit you with penalties. It'd be terrible.
Absolutely.
It's just to pay your taxes kind of situation. And so let's check one more time. We can see this AVAX order got filled. We left it here. It looked kind of shady there. And Luna, did it get filled? The high is 9653, 9667, so it did not get filled. Would you leave this one on? That's the question. You're trying to get this blue line, hasn't filled, almost got there. What would you do? It's your last thing for the day, and you're going to be done.
Yeah, I'd give it a shot, but I'd place a order, like you said, an alarm down below at a certain point for a runaway. Looks like you've got a channel forming here or a sideways trend, and it might make it back up.
Yeah, part of me thinks that's what I would probably want to do too. But if it was the last one for the day and it was just like get this done and get it all done, at this stage, I'm saying, okay, I've got to sell Luna and buy something else. So let's say, what are we buying? We're buying the strongest coin we don't hold, which is Algo. So at this point, the decision is, well, there's no point getting cute if this is falling and Algo is falling too. Still, if I've got to sell this, use that money to buy Algo. So let's take a quick look at what Algo's doing. You go, okay, Algo's going up while this is going down. So maybe this doesn't.
At this point, I dump that if I'm looking to buy Algo because the potential for it to go up and get in a worse position. So I want to per se cut my loss.
At this point,
and get a better buy at the coin that's got a better shot at going up.
Exactly so. And so let's look at how that would look like. The close is 4490. Let's look at that on the 1 hour. I don't know if you're going to get that, right? Like I don't know if I'd be willing to take too much risk. Let's look at it on a 5-minute chart and go probably a 50-50 call, right? What would you do there, Stefan? Would you get cute and wait for the blue line?
Blue line is our desire to buy, and is what you're saying, right?
Yep, blue line is desire to buy right now.
The only thing I would do is if we're on a 5-minute chart, I might take an opportunity to try and take the not this current candle, but the previous candle's high.
Don't forget, we're buying it, so we're trying to buy it cheap. And when we sell it, we're trying to.
I'm sorry, we're selling this one or buying this one?
We're buying this one, so we want to buy it cheap.
I would then slightly below the white candle 3 over if I'm going to try and do anything at this point because it keeps going up. Yeah, that one, the buy it slightly below the low or the lowest.
So you wouldn't hold out for the blue line, which is what we're trying to get, which we just got.
No, I'd buy it below that.
You get cute, you get even cuter, you go down here.
Yeah, see what I'm saying right there. Yeah, that's where I would look to go. The low that there.
Boy, that's getting real cute. Personally, I probably wouldn't get that cute. So
okay.
I mean, you'll probably get it. I think you're good.
I got lucky with one last week, so now I'm cocky.
Yeah, I think personally, I would want to be done. I would want to be done with that. Like it's the last thing we've got to do today. You do this and you're out, and you've got out with no slippage. I would call that a good day at the races. But look, you were right and I was wrong. Like there, you just got it right. So how much did you make for that bold move? That was 4474 compared to 4484. So you made 10 divided by 4484. So you made an extra 1/5%. An extra 1/5% divided by your whole account with 5 positions is an extra 25%. 0.004%. Was that worth fucking around for? Probably not an even move. So but I mean, it worked. And now, so that's Algo. What was it? It was Luna. And you can see by holding out to wait for Luna, we would have just fucked ourselves because Algo's going up and Luna's going down. So we would have double fucked ourselves, right? So there's no upside in holding this for that.
Hey Scott, sorry for interruption. I'm gonna leave. I have to jump off. So thank you for today.
I think we're pretty much done, right? Do you want to do this with me on Monday, Deepesh?
What time is it that you said? Sorry.
I've got 2 calls. Let me just check my calendar.
So as soon as the system churns out the new coins, I think it's 9 a.m. my time. Should be.
How about 9:30 a.m.
My
9:30 a.m. your time? Stefan and I are doing it, so
Yep.
we can all do it together if you like.
Absolutely, please. That would be wonderful.
What are we? And yes.
Yep.
All right. Okay, send you an invitation, and thank you very much for your time. I'll see you on Monday.
Thank you. See you.
Deepesh, have a good day.
Bye, Scott. Bye, Stefan. Bye, Mike.